and I'm from MIT1. Today I'm going to interview Mr. Ambassador of Azerbaijan for my school assignment. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for agreeing to the interview.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this interview and for this offer. I'm really pleased to be interviewed by your school and by you. Thank you.
Can I request you to please share your childhood and school years?
I was born in the late 70s, and my childhood and school years were covered 80s and 90s. I was born in a family of doctors where reading was common thing. Everybody loved to read, to educate themselves. So in my childhood years, I developed this love of reading. I was frequenting local libraries, and of course I was watching a lot of movies as well. So that's how I became to love to become an ambassador.
Thank you. How did you become an ambassador? Could you please share your journey with us?
I think the decision or the idea to become an ambassador came when I was in the 8th grade. I was studying in Russian school, but I was reading a lot about historic figures from West to East. And the more I read, the more convinced I was becoming to be an ambassador.
Who has been your biggest influence and how have they transformed your life?
My the biggest influence on me came from my mother, who always encouraged me to read, to educate myself, to develop as a person, as a professional, and my father, who once told me that it doesn't matter who you choose to be, it's important to be professional in what you do.
How do you prefer to spend your leisure hours?
Reading, when there was no mobile phones, mostly reading, and watching movies. That was my favorite extra activity, which I loved a lot.
What your favorite Indian food is?
I have been in India for 6 months, and I can't say I tried every food, so to be able to choose my favorite one. But what I liked so far is chicken tikka masala. I think there is one food called that I love.
Can you tell the name of the book which inspires you the most?
There isn't one single book that inspired me the most, because every period in your life you come across a book which you read and which influences you a lot. So you had one. When I was a child, I loved to read Victor Hugo and Robert Stevenson. When I grew up, I changed to non-fiction, started to read about the lives of historic figures, their memoirs, etc. So I wouldn't say that I have a particular book that influenced me a lot. Thank you.
What is your favorite holiday destination and why?
The favorite holiday destination for me is Turkey, our neighboring brotherly country, which cuisine I love, which nature I love, and we're very close. We have affinity to each other. So I usually love places where I feel like being at home.
Do you mind us asking about your preference in sports?
In terms of watching is football or soccer, what Americans say. In terms of individual training, I would say just going to gym. Some bodybuilding, maybe weightlifting.
Which movie changed your perspective towards life the most?
I think it was 1994 or 95, Schindler's List by Steven Spielberg. That's the movie that I watched and that influenced me a lot. And I think I periodically watch that movie about history, about the Second World War, about the massacre of innocent people, and how you have to cherish life you have.
Can you recall any challenge which played a significant role in your life?
I think the major challenge was when I switched from Russian school to English school when I was in the 8th grade. So I went through this cultural change and upheaval from Russian culture to British and later Turkish speaking culture, and university years when I studied in Azerbaijan. So I had these linguistic challenges which also affected me mentally as well.
As an ambassador, what challenges do you handle on a daily basis?
Challenges, I don't say there are challenges. I think every life is about challenges, and every corner you have challenges. I think I'm the person who trying to see opportunities in every moment, in every challenge. So I wouldn't call them challenges. Others I have very good opportunities every day, meeting people, solving issues, connecting, organizing something. So I think that's more opportunity than challenge.
In your present position, how do you think you are contributing to making Azerbaijan a self-sufficient country?
I don't think that I individually make any difference because making your country self-sufficient is the collective effort, and I'm part of the diplomacy of my country for a service. I think my modest contribution is mostly part of the overall collective efforts in that regard.
How do you perceive the cultural exchange between Azerbaijan and India evolving in recent years?
In recent years, I wouldn't say that I'm satisfied in how it evolves for the last years, but we are trying our best. The thing is that with growing tourism relations, and a lot of Indians now choose Azerbaijan as their favorite destination to travel. I think through tourism we promote our culture among Indian audience.
Are there any upcoming collaborative cultural events or projects between Azerbaijan and India that you're particularly excited about?
About joint collective, there we don't have any specific event or process ongoing right now. But what we are now preparing for our National Day reception for our Independence Day, and part of that Independence Day we will demonstrate movies, video footages about Azerbaijan's culture, about the cultural relations Azerbaijan and India had so far. And so I'm more excited about this event.
How would you describe the impact of Azerbaijani art and cuisine on Indian culture and vice versa?
I think I will not be able to bring specific examples, but I think the more people travel to each other's countries, there is the travel among countries, tourists, people become feeling closer and loving not only the culture in the country but their cuisine as well. Let's say in Azerbaijan on a daily basis, the number of Indian restaurants are growing. At least I know in Baku there are 12 restaurants because there are a lot of Indian tourists are traveling. Also, Indian cuisine is becoming favorite among Azerbaijani food lovers. In India itself, how Azerbaijani cuisine is loved. I think more people travel to Azerbaijan, they come to taste Azerbaijani cuisine, the taste of its vegetables, fruits, etc. Their love, I think they become to love it. And in India, rice is very famous. In my country, also rice cuisine, meal made of rice is very famous. And pilav. Also in India, there is pilav, which is the favorite meal in Azerbaijan. So I think there is the exchange is obvious. It's there.
In your opinion, what are some common cultural values shared between Azerbaijan and India?
Common cultural values. Azerbaijan and India, we have centuries-long civilizational people-to-people cultural ties. First of all, Azerbaijan was on the route of the Great Silk Road, and Indian merchants traveled through Azerbaijan in ancient times in the Middle Ages, and they left their footprint in Azerbaijan in the form of Ateshgah or fire temple, which was the favorite place for Indian fire worshippers to visit. Also, they left the city downtown Baku, capital of Azerbaijan. There is old city where there is a caravanserai or the old hotel, as we say, which was built for Indian merchants. And nowadays, when Indian tourists travel to Azerbaijan, they love to go and see those places. I think there is culture. Also, Indian movie cinema is very loved in my country as well.
What role do you see cultural diplomacy playing in strengthening the bilateral relations between Azerbaijan and India?
Cultural diplomacy, or soft power, as we say diplomatically, plays an important role because not only two countries should talk in the language of politics, but they also have to exchange their cultural heritage, their culture, their song, their music, in many aspects. I think part of the introduction of any country and its people in another country and among its people is culture. And culture is a universal language that unites people and countries.
Are there any specific initiatives aimed at fostering educational and academic exchange in the field of culture between Azerbaijan and India?
There are. First of all, in India, there is an agency called Indian Council of Cultural Relations. It is under the Ministry of External Affairs. Every year, that organization allocates slots for representatives of other countries, and they finance their cultural education here. Last year, let's say, we had two Azerbaijani ladies who worked here, and they were studying through this ICC program. They were learning Indian dances. More in regards to Azerbaijan, we have some educational programs, but not specifically on culture. But as part of that educational scholarship programs, Indian citizens can choose to study cultural realm.
What are some unique aspects of Azerbaijani culture that you believe resonate particularly well with the Indian audience?
I think our love of folk music, folk culture from ancient times, our Muram. This is also I know that in India Sufism and Sufi culture is also loved, which is also part of my culture, Azerbaijan's culture. So, and the thing is that with India and Azerbaijan, linguistically, Hindi language and Azerbaijani language, we share a lot of similar words, and it comes from our, I think, common history, because we were part of two neighboring empires who used the same language in our territory and in the territory of India. So there is a cultural affinity and closeness is there.
What effort is Azerbaijan making to address global issues such as climate change, poverty, and healthcare?
Well, I think Azerbaijan is contributing significantly, and I will bring the example from recent years. When COVID pandemic hit the world, Azerbaijan was chairing non-aligned movement. As part of our championship, we came up with the idea of equitable and just distribution of COVID vaccines. Moreover, we helped with vaccines and humanitarian assistance, provided humanitarian assistance to around 80 countries, members of non-aligned movement. We allocated more than $10 million for those activities. Also, we have AIDA, Azerbaijan International Development Agency, which undertakes activities in the African continent and also the Asian subcontinent on eradicating poverty, by helping malnourished children, Plus, Azerbaijan will host the COP29 event this year and will preside over the conference of the parties to the UN Climate Change Convention this year and will contribute through its chairmanship to this cause.
Can you share some insights into the relationship between Azerbaijan and India, both historically and in the present day?
Yes, I can. Azerbaijan and India are very close countries where only two countries separate us, we're in each other's extended neighborhood, as we diplomats say. At the same time, apart from middle context in the Middle Ages, I want to mostly refer to the 50s, 60s, and 70s of the 20th century, when Azerbaijan was part of the Soviet Union. In Azerbaijan and India, we were culturally very close. We had friendship among our artists like Raj Kapoor and Rashid Bekudov. Also, Azerbaijan, since we had Fire Temple that was favorite place of Indian visitors, we have information that in 1930 the Indian famous poet and the first Indian to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, Rabindranath Tagore, who visited Azerbaijan. Then later politicians like Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, they all visited Azerbaijan to see this Fire Temple. And we had joint cinemas shot in the 70s. Nowadays, Indian movie and culture industry are very interested in making movies or video clips in Azerbaijan. So the cultural relations have always been present in our relations.
As an ambassador, what advice would you give to young people who are interested in international relations or diplomacy?
Read a lot about history. First of all, history of your country, history of the world and the region that you live in. Second, on a daily basis, follow news, what's happening in the world. Third, read as much as possible memoirs or books by former politicians, public service, public officials, etc. So reading and learning all the time. That would be my number one. And of course, learn English. Learn English and many languages as many as possible. Because there is saying that if you know one language, you are one person. If you learn more languages, you will have more personalities. So read and learn. That would be my number one advice.
Thank you for your time and your interesting information.
Thank you for having me. I was very pleased to be interviewed. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.